Good evening, everyone. And hey, folks, how are you doing this evening? This is Dr. B with another college and career conversations for you this evening. Now, in the background, you might hear some chirping and some other stuff. I have the doors and windows open because it's one of the first days that we haven't had a lot of humidity. Unfortunately, Mother Nature is out there singing her song, so you may hear that in the background. And I also want to say a shout out to my former stomping grounds, East Providence, Rhode Island. You see here this great t-shirt with the different zip codes for East Providence. My zip code was 02916. So I'll stand up so you can see that a little bit. Okay. I was kind of missing EP today. I was online looking at pictures of the new high school, the East Providence High School. And I'm like, oh man, I want to see the school. I want to go inside. I want the opportunity to teach in a building that looks as spectacular as that one looks. However, that wasn't to be had. So again, hometown, East Providence, Rhode Island. This evening, I want to talk to you. It's called College Planning Smorgasbord. And that's because there are so many bits and pieces to this whole college planning, college admission process. So I know some of these things I've talked about before, but it's always important to hear it again. And please remember, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'd love for this to be a conversation with more than just me talking to myself. So everyone, go grab your favorite drink, go get some water, do whatever you need to do, and be back in a few seconds. Okay, so we are back. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is college admission and what some students should be doing now. Now, quite a few colleges have reopened their campuses. There are on-campus visits. There are also virtual visits. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that to make sure that you're maximizing your time in what you need to do. And remember, if you have any questions, throw them in the comment section. And also, I just like to know who's out there watching with me. So, throw your name in there, where you're from, because I'm always amazed that people are from, out of state. I'm like, how did you find me? So throw your information in there. So the first thing I want to do is just talk about, visiting. I miss visiting campuses. I haven't really been on a campus in a while where I've done an official tour, hoping to do one soon before the end of this month. A couple of colleges in North Carolina that I want to see. I'd like to go back and see UNC Pembroke. I haven't been on that campus in a while. I want to get up to North Carolina A&T. Haven't been on that campus other than to drive by it, but I really wanted to do a full tour. And then just a few others here in North Carolina. So I am going to actually share my screen with you and focus on a college in North Carolina, just because it's a little easier showing you what you should be looking for when you go on a college's website. So this evening, I'm going to use Davidson College in Davidson, North Carolina as my example. But remember, every college has similar information on their site. I just decided that I wanted to use Davidson. So this is Davidson's website for their visit page. And one of the first things you want to do when you're considering going to visit a college is to go to that visit page. Go to the visit page. Whoops, here we go. You want to go to that visit page and you want to see what the college is doing as far as their visit protocol. So you need to check that out. Every college, go on there and do it. Hey, thank you, Chris, for joining of the Right Time Writing Services. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining in. I really appreciate it. So it tells you here with Davidson, tells you what you can do on a campus visit. So again, they're looking at small groups. Okay, so you can't go with 10, 15 people, small groups. They're telling you that you'll get a guided tour, you'll get information sessions, and it gives you an idea of how long it's going to last. A 45-minute information session and a 75-minute campus tour. So that means put on your walking shoes so that you will be comfortable. And they give you the information on how to schedule a visit. Now, that's if you want to do an in-person visit. Now, because we're still dealing with COVID-19 and the Delta variant and everything else that goes along with that, they also still have their virtual visits going on. So it's always important. Go on the site, see what the parameters are. What are the requirements in order to be able to do the virtual visit? So Davidson, they're letting you know that they give virtual information sessions, that they're 60 minutes, hosted by a member of the admission person and a current student. So now you get an opportunity to have a conversation with a student if Davidson is one of the schools on your list. They also do a guided virtual tour, which is pretty cool. I said, I might try to do this, even though I've been to Davidson 3 times and I love the campus, love the town. I just think it's such a great school for the right student. So again, figure out, do you have the opportunity to visit a school in person, or are you going to do a virtual? So again, Davidson's giving you all their choices. Then they also have this other offering here where you can ask a Wildcat live. That's their mascot, the Wildcat. And it just tells you these are 30-minute Q&A sessions for students that give you more information, and it's with current students. So if Davidson is a school that someone in your life is concerned with, or you're thinking about putting on your college list, make sure you do these. So when you're doing a visit, the first thing I like students to do, even before you go visit, go on the website, read about the school, read about the academic programs, read about what's happening in student life, know about the clubs and organizations that are available to you on that campus. So do that. Spend some time on the website. Really dig into it to find out what's going on. So that's one of the first things you're going to do as part of your research. You're going to look at what's going on with on-campus visits, and make sure you know what the COVID policy is, and that will probably be always on the homepage of a college. Find out what's the virtual visits and any other ways that you can connect with admissions. So here's another thing that I suggest to students. And again, I'm using Davidson as my example. So what I've been recommending to my students, juniors, seniors, and even, freshmen and sophomores, if they're ready to look, if they just want to look. Freshmen and sophomores in high school, your job right now is just to be the best 9th and 10th grader that you can be. So don't get all caught up in the college admission process. Juniors, you need to be thinking about it. You need to be thinking about going to visit schools if it's possible. But if it's not possible, you need to figure out, so what can I do instead to learn about this school? So one of the things I recommend to my students is to read the student newspaper. So this is the student newspaper for Davidson. It's called the Davidsonian. You can find the student newspaper for any college just by going into the search bar, typing the name of the college, and putting student newspaper. That gives you another flavor of the campus. So it's letting you know what the students are finding to be issues that they want to bring to the forefront. So because classes just started in most of the schools, you'll probably see newspapers, student newspapers from the end of the spring semester. So this one is dated, their latest articles were from April 28th. But again, you'll be able to find that any school. So that gives you another way to get some more information about a school. And you know why this is important? Say the supplemental essay that you're writing for a college is about why us? Why do you want to come to this school? So quite a few colleges have that. They're asking you, why do you want to come to our school? If you're doing your research, if you're going on these websites and really digging deep into the websites, if you're looking at things like the student newspaper and some other things that I'm going to show you, you want to really be able to be very specific about what is it about that school that attracts you. Please do not write essays, why us essays saying, I want to come to your campus because it's beautiful. Or I heard you have some of the best professors. They know they already have that. They know that their campus is beautiful. They know that their location is one that everyone wants to be near, if they're near the beach or if they're up in the mountains or whatever. You need to really dig in and find out what is it about that college that I can talk about that relates to why I want to go to that college. The colleges want to know that you really want to come there and that you know more about them than just the superficial stuff. And there are times, and some admissions officers will say this, that the supplemental essays are more important than the personal statement. And the personal statement is that 250 to 650 word essay that you write as part of the Common App that all of the colleges on your list that use the Common App will see. However, some colleges do have supplemental essays. So again, take your time and check out the student newspaper. Now, another thing. So did you know that if you go on a college's website, you can usually find out information about the admission staff? Quite a few colleges do what we call regional admissions. So admission counselors will be assigned to a particular state or a particular section of the state. It's a good thing to know who is the representative for your area, because most likely that is going to be the first person to read your application. So you want to have an idea who's reading your application. The other thing that I like about being able to go and look at them. So for example, Davidson, and not all of them have this, but again, take the time to find out if they do. So first of all, like if I were to click on Miss Arellano's name, it gives me some information about her. So Davidson has theirs set up where they ask their admission people their go-to meal in the area. So now you're finding out a little bit more about what's going on in the area, a hidden talent that they have, and then why Davidson? Why did they decide to come to Davidson and work there? And then also how to spend your spare afternoon in the Charlotte area. So Davidson is less than about a half an hour from Charlotte, North Carolina. So of course, people are going, students at Davidson, they're going into Charlotte. So each one of the admission people that are on here tells you some information about what they like. So let's see what John likes here. So John, he just talks about his hidden talent is that he likes to cook. But when he's talking about how to spend an afternoon in the Charlotte area, he talks about Optimus Hall. So if you don't know what Optimus Hall is, look it up. Go into the search engine, find out a little bit about it. He talked about why he loves Davidson. He says it's a close-knit community of staff, faculty, and students. So again, that's the kind of information that may or may not help you, but it may be interesting for you to know that. And just about, like I said, all of the colleges will have that. And as you can see in this section, it talks about admission regions. So John is responsible for applications from Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, outside the Atlanta metro area, Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina. So when he's traveling to these states, visiting high schools in these states. So again, find out who your admission person is. And if you have a question that you cannot find the answer to on the website, now remember that part. If you cannot find it on the website, this is the person that you can email and ask them. Do not just email them for like frivolous questions, but email them because you have a question about something. Meredith High is the Associate Dean of Admission and the Director of Scholarships. And her admission area happens to be Connecticut, Virginia, especially the Richmond and Tidewater areas. So again, this is another opportunity for you to find out information about a college that you're interested in. And I think that in doing that, it will help give you some information about that college that you might be able to use in your essay, especially if there's a YS essay or any of the other essays that may be in there. So again, really, really, really dig deep, find out about what's going on in those colleges, and that's some of the ways that you can do it. Now, one of my absolute favorite places on a college campus, besides the library, and I think this is an office that gets overlooked a lot, and I really wish more people would even if you can't go there, even if it's not part of the tour, I think you should know where it is. I think you should go on the website and read a little bit about it to see what it has to offer you. And that is the Career Center. Oops, let me move over here. So that's the Career Center. So at Davidson, the Center for Career Development, it's the Betty and B. Frank Matthews II Center for Career Development. Because you know what? Once you get out of college, you're going to work. Yeah. Yeah, you're not living in your parents' basement. You're not just hanging out at the beach or what have you. You're going to work. So it's good for you to know what that college has to offer you. And there are parts of the website, the Career Services Center section, that is available to you. You know, you can just click on. So if you want to know, like, what kind of programming do they have here? So they're telling, so you can find out about what kind of career exploration and assessments are available to you as a student at Davidson. You can get one-on-one career advising at Davidson. You can have career assessments. And so I would just really recommend just kind of going through any of the career services for whatever colleges that are on your list and see what they have. So here they talk about summer internship grants. That's something you want to know about. There's a grant for an internship. So let's see what that's all about. Let's see. There we go. So again, it's telling us, first of all, there have been some opportunities that have been expanded. So that's great. So they've awarded grants to some students participating in unpaid or low-paying summer internships. So that means, because a lot of times internships come without any pay. And that's not what you want. You really want to try to find a paid internship. But Davidson offers grants to some of their students who do have these unpaid or low-paying internships, and they will help cover their cost of living or what other expenses they may have, up to $3,000. So that's pretty cool, and it tells you what the application process is. It talks about experiential learning. You know, what kind of on-the-job training would you get by being able to access the services at Davidson Career Center. They talk about their on-campus recruiting. So again, this is something that you want to take some time and look at it. What does the Career Center at a particular school have to offer you? There will be parts that you will not be able to access because you're not a student, unless you're a student there. For example, if you were to go on what they call Handshake, which is their online career advising tool that they use, it will ask you for your username and password because you're not, a matriculated student at Davidson. However, there are so many other pieces there that you can look at. And I really hope people take the time to do something like that. And when you're looking at a website, one of the things that you'll find out is what else they're offering. So here's something really cool. I was looking through something with about Davidson. And then when I was going through it, I'm like, oh, this is pretty neat. So they're offering what they call an admissions intensive, Davidson Admission Intensive. So they're doing registrations right now. They're doing them throughout September and October. Actually starts next week. The sessions are for high school, juniors, and seniors. And as you can see here, there is a schedule of workshops. They're 7 p.m. Eastern time. So again, there are no costs. You can see there what the subjects are. I think this is great. This is such a great way to learn more about Davidson specifically and the college planning process in general. So definitely, check that out. And as you can see, let's see what else they have here. So they're doing a college application and financial aid basics, an essay writing 101 with some myth busting, then essay writing 201, brainstorming, some college application and financial aid basics, Again, and then they go on and repeat. But then they also add in, and this is one I think students should look at, leveraging your activities list and supplemental materials. And what do you do after you hit submit? So again, at no cost, all you have to do is register. So I really think this is something, even if Davidson is not a school on your list, I'm sure there's going to be information that they're going to share that will be valuable for anyone applying to college. Um, yes, Chris, Chris is saying career services, great tip. You're welcome. I am a fanatic about career services. Aside from when I'm visiting on campus, aside from making sure I visit the library, if we don't actually get to visit career services, I want to know where it is. And when I do get the opportunity to visit career services, I love to speak to the people that work there, because that's a place that I tell all my students, don't wait until your junior or senior year to go to career services. That's a place you need to make friends with those folks the first semester of your freshman year. Like, get in there, meet those people. Internships come out of there, sometimes maybe research projects, other types of employment may come out of there. So go in there and use those services, because you know what? Your tuition dollars are paying for it anyway. So go in there and use it to its full advantage. If you have a question about career services of college that you're thinking about attending, contact them. Contact them. Folks want to be able to help you learn more about their school. So definitely do that. One of the other neat things on quite a few websites is you want to know what the class looked like that they just accepted. So here we see the class of 2025 profile. So it's giving us a little bit of information about who Davidson accepted for this coming fall. So here's some of the things that we see. They had a little over 6,000 applicants. They accepted a little over 1,100 applicants. Out of those 1,100, 552 said, yes, we're going to come to Davidson. So their overall acceptance rate is about 17.8%, but their enrollment yield is 48.6%. So enrollment yield means the number of people who actually came that they offered admissions to. And then again, here's something: when you're on those college visits, whether it's virtual or in person, you want to ask about early decision, if that college has early decision. So you notice here it says they had 732 early decision applicants. So for those that aren't familiar with early decision is one of the admission options, application options. There's early decision, early action. There's rolling admission, regular decision. Some schools have single choice early action, or restricted early action. But for early decision is binding. That means when you apply to a college that has early decision, you are saying that if you are accepted to that college, that you are going to that college, and that you will withdraw all your other applications from other colleges. So this means you do not get an opportunity to see if you would have been accepted at other colleges. You do not get to see the financial aid packages that other colleges may have offered you. And I always tell families that ED for families is something that you do, first of all, if it's definitely the school that the student wants to go to more than anything else. But more important than that, can you afford it? Is that school within your family budget? It breaks my heart every year when someone gets into a school ED and then they get the financial award package, and it's not doable for their family. So that is definitely something, that's a conversation you need to have. And when a student applies ED, there is actually an additional form that people have to sign off on, saying that what the requirements are for an ED application. So your school counselor has to sign that form, a parent has to sign that form, and the student has to sign that form. So again, ED is something that you only do if you definitely know that that is your number one choice, and you can afford it. You're not worried about how you're going to pay for it. So again, think about that. So that's one way that you can learn more about a school, whether you're actually going on the campus or if you're doing virtual. I have been doing so much virtual stuff because, like I said, I haven't been out visiting too many campuses. But here's another opportunity to learn more about colleges that I really hope you do and get a chance to do. So NACAC, the National Association for College Admission Counseling, has these wonderful college fairs every year. Typically, they would be in person. I know in our area, in the Raleigh area, ours was usually sometime either in March or April. It all depended, and it would be at the Raleigh Convention Center. And there would also be a college fair in Charlotte. Because of COVID, everything has gone virtual. They have been, so they just had one I think it was last week. Yeah, last Sunday. Or the Sunday before, or whatever August 29th was. That was the first fall one. So I did a couple of colleges and did a couple of sessions because they were colleges that students that I have were interested in. So I wanted to sit in on the admissions session and learn a little bit more. And one of them had a student panel, so I wanted to hear what the students had to say. So again, the next one is coming up. You can see here on the screen, September 12th. Okay, virtual college fair. It's a Sunday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. You don't have to stay all 5 hours. You can go in when you click on. You can go in. You can schedule once you register because you want to make sure you register. You can see right now they have 390 colleges that plan to be at that September 12th date. You can see what live sessions are coming up by clicking on live sessions. But if you're looking for a particular school and you want to see if they're going to be at the college fair, you can just put in the college's name here to see whether or not they're going to be available. If you're looking by state, so let me see, I'm going to look, because I'm here in North Carolina, let me pull up North Carolina. So let's see what schools from North Carolina will be there. So we've got 9 colleges from North Carolina that will be part of this college fair on September 12th. App State, Elon, High Point, NC State, the Schema Business School, UNC Charlotte, who is actually changing their branding to just Charlotte. A student's diploma will still say University of North Carolina at Charlotte, but they're changing their branding. So you'll be seeing that around quite a bit where they'll be just saying just Charlotte. So look for that. UNC Greensboro, UNC Wilmington, and Western Carolina. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about one of the schools on here. So Western Carolina is one of the schools that is part of the NC Promise program. So it's Western Carolina, UNC Pembroke, and oh God, what's the other one? Elizabeth City State University, which is an HBCU. The NC Promise for students that are North Carolina residents, tuition is $500 per semester. Okay, that's for any student that's a resident of North Carolina. $500 a semester. If you are an out-of-state student, tuition is $2,500 a semester, which is really good. You are responsible for paying your room and board, and your dining hall and all the other fees that come with that. But with the NC Promise, you have the opportunity to the cat's up here. You have the opportunity to pay that low tuition. So think about that. So again, make sure you go on to the NACAC website. It's just NACAC virtual college fairs, and I'll actually make sure that's in the show notes and everything for you. Let me see. Did I put that? No, I didn't put the banner up there, but I'll get that up there. But you can see it up here, virtualcollegefairs.org. That's all you need. And you can see that the first one is coming up September 12th. And you see that they have a few others coming up. September 28th, October 3rd, October 14th, October 24th, November 2nd. November 2nd in particular, Arts and STEM College Fair. So they will be highlighting colleges that are arts and STEM particular. And then November 14th is the last college fair for the fall. So again, check out these college fairs, and you definitely want to make sure that you do that. Now, one other thing. So I was trying to think, I said, okay, I call this a smorgasbord because it was a little bit of everything today. It wasn't one particular thing I wanted to talk about because in working with my juniors and seniors, they have multiple questions. They have questions about so many different components of college admission. I've been working with seniors on writing their essays, getting their personal statements together, working on those Why Us essays and the other supplemental essays that colleges ask for. Oh, I just thought of something really interesting about Davidson. Davidson is one of the colleges, and there aren't that many, there are a couple. I'm not really sure. I need to look and see who the others are. But in addition to having a teacher recommendation or a council recommendation, Davidson requires a peer recommendation. So you have to have a friend write you a college recommendation. And there's a link that you would share with them, and they would fill out the information about you using that link. So that is a part of Davidson's application process. For those of you that are just tuning in, Dr. B here from Steps to the Future. I have on my East Providence, Rhode Island t-shirt with all the different zip codes in East Providence because, they went back to school last week, and I miss having a first day of school, and that was my home stomping grounds for so many years. So I felt like, okay, I'm going to put on my EP shirt today. So again, that's why I have this on. And make sure, take the opportunity to share this with people. If you're just joining in, watch all of it on the replay. In addition to being on my Facebook page, you'll also see it on my YouTube channel. And I really hope you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm planning on putting more content up there besides this, additional content. This is the URL to my YouTube channel. So please go on there and subscribe, pass it on to other folks because I would love to have people on there watching the different videos. And like I said, I'm going to expand beyond what you see on my Facebook page. So let's see, one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, so one of the things my kids have been talking about a lot, we've been looking at the Common Application. That probably is the most used application platform in the United States. Many colleges, there's over I think 900 or is it 800 and something. I always lose track of the numbers because more and more colleges come on every year. But I've been really working with my students on getting pieces of their Common App done, sections of it done, and as much as they can get done. So one of the things that I definitely try to get them to do, and let me just share this with you. Let's go back here. So this is my Common App. This is my practice account that I have. And anybody out there, you can have a practice account so you can see what it looks like. So when you go into the home page, it will ask you who you are to identify yourself, if you're an educator, if you're a parent, or what have you. And you can create a Common App account. And just like it says on mine at the top, it will say practice account. That means I can do anything that a student can do and see on my practice account, but I cannot submit it. But I can do everything else. So I've gone in and you can put up to 20 colleges on your Common App. Nobody should be applying to, more than 20 colleges. Typically 6 to 10 is like a good number, or 6 to 8, 6 to 10 is a good number. But once you put in your colleges, and when you go to your dashboard, you'll see information here about the colleges. So, their name, the application. You can tell them, like in Davidson, I put that I wanted to apply regular decision. So on this homepage, I can see that application is going to be due January 11th, 2022. Here's another neat thing that I really like on the Common App that some people don't know about. See this little section up here that says application requirements? So for all of the colleges that I have listed here, and I have about 20, and I'll just show you other pieces of it. When I click on application requirements, let's see, is it going to do it? The spiral of death. This grid comes up. So I have my colleges only. So on this grid, it's the colleges, the 20 colleges that I have listed on my particular Common App. It's giving me all this information about them. So it's telling me, if it's a co-ed institution. It's giving me, if it has ED, it's telling me what the date for ED is. ED2, which is typically in January. It's giving me the date for that. It gives me the date for early action. So it's giving us all the deadline dates and letting you know what types of deadline dates are available at those colleges. Application fees. So this is how much it costs to apply to the school unless you have a fee waiver. It lets you know that here they're asking about some of the evaluations. Okay. And what they need, say they want courses and grades. Does the school require courses and grades? That's where a student has to put in all of their coursework and grades from 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, and then also include their information from what classes they're taking their senior year. Whether or not, so if they were an art student or a music student or what have you, and they needed a portfolio, it lets you know that. Testing policy is here, but I always suggest, I highly recommend, always check the website, double check the website on any testing policy or anything, because it may show up there faster than it would here. And then if they did use the test, how they would use them. So you get all this great information. And then it lets you know what recommendations you need. So this is a teacher evaluation if it's TE. OE is other evaluations. So that could be like your soccer coach. It could be a music teacher that you're taking lessons from outside of school. It could be your pastor. But make sure you look under the requirements for each school and see if that's allowed. If they allow additional recommendations, it will say it. And this is whether or not they need a mid-year report. So somebody was asking me about this today. So how does a college know prior to you going to their school, and it's halfway through the year, how do they know how you're doing in classes? So the MR stands for a mid-year report. So any school that requires a mid-year report, that means your school counselor has to send in a transcript that now has your grades on it from first semester. Okay. Not every college requires that. And you'll be able to see the CR is the counselor report, council recommendation. So as I said, I only have the 20 colleges that I'm using, but if you click on all colleges, then it switches to all of the colleges that are on the Common App. So you could see that information there. So let's go back here to dashboard. So when you go to my colleges, what does this look like? So in there, you can see each college is listed here. Excuse me. And if I click on Davidson, because that's this college I'm using for my example tonight. So it gives you all this college information about Davidson. You scroll down. Again, it gives you the application deadlines, other application information, what else is required. It lets you know under the writing that they do want the personal essay. Excuse me. I think I'm going to have to take a quick drink here out of my beautiful IECA water flask. And it is water, folks, so don't be getting crazy. Ooh, it's getting a dry throat here. And then it has some additional college questions. And then if it has a writing supplement, it lets you know right there. So again, it's important to go through this to find out what it is that is required for a college. So that's just that part. And then there's specific college questions. So each college will have this a section where they're asking you college specific questions. So the questions on this page are for Davidson only. Anywhere you see a red asterisk, you have to answer that question. Okay, so do not skip any of those, or else it's not going to let you submit the application. And how will you know that you have everything answered? A green check will appear next to that section. So again, this is where you go in and you determine who your recommenders are. And first you have to do the FERPA release authorization, and that's another whole thing that we'll talk about another time. This is where students will invite their recommenders if their school councils have told them to use this section. And then, review and submit your application. So again, because this is a practice account, it's telling me I can't submit it because I have a practice account, but it's also telling me that these pieces aren't completed yet. But again, that's something you can do. Now, if I wanted to go right down to look at what the questions were, you just click on that section. So again, here's a supplemental question. So for Davidson, you're already doing the personal statement. And that the personal statement is an essay where you're telling the college something about you, something about your story, something about you that they don't see anywhere else in the application, that they can't discern from other parts of your application. That's another whole conversation. But they also have supplemental questions. And so they're asking you again, this is the why Davidson question. Being as specific as possible, what interests you most about Davidson College? 250 to 300 words. You need to be able to tell them, what is it about Davidson that interests you? Do not say, I like the location. Do not say, oh, you have a great, English program. If there is something about the English program, then you need to go specifically into that English department site on the website and read up about it. One of the things I do suggest to my students, if, say, for example, English is the area that you plan to study, go to the English department, go to the section that has the faculty and staff, the instructors, the professors for English. Click on their bios, read a little bit about them. What type of research are they doing? Is somebody doing some type of research that aligns with your interests? That's information that you can work into that why us essay. So that's something you can do. But again, don't go in there and just BS people. Okay? Don't go in there and do that. Make sure you're really paying attention to what it is that aligns with what you like. And again, there's another one where they ask you about, what is a topic, activity, or idea that excites you? Tell them why. And they give you examples. And again, 250 to 300 words. Every college will have something. Some may not have supplemental essays, which is okay. So you just need to make sure that you know what each school is requiring of you. So that's about it with that. So, if you have any questions, you can always throw them in the comments. And, I'm on this page quite a bit, this Facebook page quite a bit. So I will definitely make sure if you don't have questions today and you have questions later, I will definitely make sure I get to those questions. But now we're coming to one of my favorite parts. Let's see. So Chris's question is, are all the colleges and universities inside the college app, inside the Common App? No, not all of them, Chris. There are probably close to, let me see, how many, I'm not even sure how many colleges use the Common App, but not all do. I think it's close to 900 now that use the Common application. So not all colleges are. And you can actually, when you go back into that, that dashboard and you look at application requirements and you pull this up, and you pull this grid back up. Actually, let me make sure I'm sharing the screen so you can see that. And we go back to this download the grid. I mean, this is I shouldn't have downloaded it, but you can see, let me actually go back here. Yeah, I didn't mean to download it. I didn't want to download it. I just wanted to, if you go to, all colleges, you can see every college alphabetically that is, excuse me. every college alphabetically, but there's also, you can go on to the Common App website, their main website, and you can see. So it's actually 963 colleges use the Common App. There are some colleges that have their own application, which is fine. And if they also use the Common App and their application, so if they have the Common App and their own application, you can use whichever one is easier and more convenient for you to use. You do not have to use the Common App. They don't prefer one over the other. So again, that's something that that works out for everybody. Also, now there's also the Common Black app. So there's an application that I'm trying to think how many colleges now are on that. The Common Black College application. I don't know, is it 63? So that's for some HBCUs. Not every HBCU is on there. But again, that's another application that some of the HBCU colleges and universities use. Boy, that was a tongue twister. So again, that you'll see that as you come across a college, and it'll tell you on their website what they use, which application they use. There's also another one called the Coalition. But the only college right now, there are colleges, quite a few colleges that still use it, but there's only one college, to my knowledge, that uses that application exclusively, and that's the University of Washington, in Washington State. But probably the most common one is the Common App. Now, for people that live in North Carolina, you can also use the CFNC platform. That's the College Foundation of North Carolina platform to apply to quite a few colleges. So it's just a matter of having those conversations with your school counselor, seeing what your school uses. If you're applying to multiple schools and they use the Common App, it just makes sense to use it so you're not writing and repeating that information over and over again. It is so hot in here. You can see the sweat on my forehead. My goodness, I'm just glistening over here. So, whew. So one other thing. So as I said, what I love to always make sure I do is to leave you with a book. And let me put this name up here. So I've heard Jessamine talk a few times on different talk shows and what have you. This book, it's so good. It's so good. I haven't finished it yet. It's called My Yoga of Self-Acceptance. And she is a yogi. She is fantastic at what she does with yoga. And let me just read to you a little bit of it. So it says in Sanskrit, yoga means to yoke mind and body, movement and breath, light and dark, the good and the bad. This larger idea of yoke is what Jessamine Stanley calls the yoga of the everyday, a yoga that is not just about perfecting your downward dog, but about applying the hard lessons learned on the mat to the even harder daily project of living. And if you've ever heard her speak, she keeps it real. She keeps it 100. So again, this is a book I'm recommending this evening. My Yoga of Self-Acceptance by Jessamine Stanley. So I hope you get an opportunity to check that out. And if you don't want to buy the book, please go to your public library. Again, a big proponent of libraries. I think libraries are so underutilized, and you definitely want to make sure you do that. Another thing, so as of September, I have started my newsletter back up again. So the first edition for the 2021-2022 school year went out 2 days ago. If you are interested in subscribing to this monthly newsletter, which comes to you through MailChimp, this is how you subscribe to Steps. Just go to bit.ly /steps 140, and it will take you to the form. And it comes every month, and there's always a section on what you should be doing now. There's a section on different careers in a particular area. There's always a financial section. So check it out. If you're interested, no cost to you. And please make sure, you pass this on to other people. And if you're interested this evening, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, and I will get it out to you within the next couple of days, if not this evening. So again, do that. Also, check out my website. There are so many. I'm really proud that I like to put resources on my website, because I think it's important for people to be able to have resources that they can look at. So let me just show you my website real quick if you haven't been on it already. Here we go. Whoops. Okay, so that is Steps to the Future. That's my website. And please go to the resources section, and you will have different sites about college. And that's mainly like the academic part of it, paying for college. So these are all resources that will help you as far as like with financial aid or financial calculator or what have you. Hey, and if you find one with a broken link, let me know so I can fix it. Then there's also a section on career. So there's, different career sites that people can use in order to get that information. Section on parent resources. So these are usually books. So there are some books there, some blogs that I think are really, really good to pay attention to. So one of these blogs, let's see which. So Notes from Peabody, that's Dean J at UVA. She also has an Instagram account that's pretty cool, and I'm not on TikTok, but she's on TikTok. So again, these are some blogs that will be helpful to you, and they're updated pretty much. I actually need to change this one because I have the Tulane University blog, and hear from Jeff Schiffman, the director of admission, but he's no longer the director of admission. He actually changed jobs this year, but they are going to continue the blog going, but it won't be from Jeff. So again, please feel free to go onto the website, use any of these. There are some downloads from my organization, the Independent Educational Consultants Association, IECA. Why do college IECs travel? Some questions that you need to ask before hiring an IEC. Why choose somebody that's an IECA member? Principles of good practice. Those are our ethical principles that we have to follow. And 10 ways that we're unlike other IECs. And then I also have a section here for military, being here in Fayetteville with Fort Bragg. Just have some additional information. I'm looking to make this site more robust. And hopefully I'll be adding some other stuff on there. So again, that's me, Steps to the Future. So I'd love for you to check out my website. And definitely, and thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris, so much. I appreciate you being here this evening. I appreciate you taking part in the conversation. And again, everyone that's out there, please make sure that you pass this on. Let people know. Again, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is how you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And there will be content on there that is not on the Facebook page. Working on some things now to get that up and going. There are a few things that are on there now, but I need to bump that up a little bit more. So I thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you just taking time out of your day to do this. So Chris, yes, I'd love to speak to you. So Chris, if you go on my website, actually, let me go back. Let me pull this back up. If you go on my website and here where it says appointment, you can make an appointment. So this is the link. These are the links to my calendar. Usually this one is for my current students when we're working on essays or whatever we're working on. And this one, professional partnership meetings, just having conversations. So again, this is linked to my calendar, and what it will do is this is a Zoom meeting, or if you prefer a phone call, again, when you go to my calendar, you'll be able to see where you can choose a phone call. So Dr. B here with you this evening. Again, thank you everyone for who tuned in live, who are tuning in on the replay. And if you tune in on the replay, do hashtag replay so I know it was on the replay. And if you have questions, throw them into the comment section and I'll make sure I'll get to those questions. I thank you so much for joining in, and I will see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic evening.